That was, I'm worried about all these strains going around, new strains going around now.
Unfortunately, it you take forever.
I'm afraid that's what's stressing negative, no telling with you, but.
I mean, no, it's cold. That's not straight cold.
Ready?
On strength, really.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Williamson Valley Board of Commissioners meeting. It's August 3rd, 2022 at 10 a.m. 10:03 a.m. Roll call, please.
Jim Marlowe,
Present.
Brent Gentry,
Present.
Tim Atkinson.
Present. And Jim is, of course, coming in by Zoom. Okay, we're here to talk about ARPA money. Mayor, could you tell us about your project?
Well, we have serious infiltration problems in our services. Ancient fall apart. We just signed a $200,000 contract to take care of the two most critical areas now, but it's just the two most critical areas. We have it all over town as won't fit at this stage. And we're in desperate need of money. We are in the process of negotiating with Carterville to send our sewer to them. If logistics can be worked out, all the details. But as you know, Carterville is a long way from that plant being built. And the EPA is telling us we can remain autonomous if we're only spending $2 million. If we go with Carterville, it's going to be a $3 million project. And that's based on today's cost. So I'm here begging for money.
So the $200,000 that you're spending now, where does that money come from?
We have that.
You have that in reserve?
Yes.
Oh, the part about hooking up the Carterville, is that the Tri-C deal, everybody's talking about doing the Carterville, can't bring trains up one
And coal.
and go. Gotcha.
Yeah, that's, so far it's in the discussion stage. A couple of attorneys have worked out some of the details. It's a long way from fruition.
We talked one day, we didn't really go in detail at the time, but what is your long-range plan? What do you want to do? What do you think it's going to cost? And do you think your project will be done by 2026?
Yes,
All yes and all the above?
yes.
Okay. Where else would you get funding?
If,
You said yes, now where are you going to get the funding at?
that is a big question, Brent. I'm sure it'll have to be some kind of long-term loan or bond issue. We took out a $986,000 bond in 2014. And we had that paid down to about $300,000 right now. And so naturally we'll continue to make our payments on that. But as with everybody else, we're just in dire financial need.
I do agree with you. You probably haven't done it for 26. There would be a lot of federal fundings out there to get a grant writer. You hit pockets of money.
Yeah.
So
We will explore any source we can for it. And I feel like I have an advantage because I look pathetic.
feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
Well,
Come in with your hat in your hand. And that's it. Yeah.
so if we came up with some just 300,000 or whatever you don't have, that would help you, and you still feel confident that you have done in 2026. If you have to go out and do a bond.
Yeah. I'm confident in that. Yeah.
If you kill over today, are you still confident?
If I kill over today, I'll lose my confidence.
Last year Warriors would be sewer line and crane mill, right?
Right. Yeah.
Plus you down the sewer.
Well, believe me, it'd be clogged somewhere.
Well, you're, I don't know, I know Carterville's water and sewer infrastructure is for, and I assume Or is it just its age? I don't know.
Our system is about 70 years old. Big old clay pipe that everybody used back then.
Yeah.
Naturally, the new would be PVC.
So Brett mentioned if you had 300,000, how could you use it? Where would you use that?
Well, first thing would be that $200,000 contract we just signed.
So you would be able to fund that?
Yes.
That with 300?
Yes.
Okay. What else would you do if you had 300 and you spent 200 on that? What would you do with the other 100?
We would continue on the infiltration problems.
Okay.
Say that 200,000 is for the two most critical areas right now. But we have it all down, just somewhere, some other.
The reason why I was asking is that this money can't be used in matching federal funds or anything like that. So you guys, did you get ARPA money as a town?
We got, I think,
Yeah, I only gave you the ones that were 100,000.
Oh, this came from you?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, I forgot it was money that came from. You guys didn't get funded. No.
Yeah, you're the, this is what this money's for. I mean, to us, the three of us, we all think exactly the same. Get it out to as many hands as we can help. You know, not load up one project or not load up another. I think everything that can help, everybody. So, what else then? Jim, you got anything?
I guess my two main concerns, Ron, are, number one, can you continue with the project on partial funding? Number two, and the main thing is, like what Brent said, will the project be done by 2026? Because if not, that means that money would have to come back. And we don't want to do that. You know, we don't want to see you having to pay that money back or anything like that. And these are the requirements that we didn't put in place. It's the requirements that the United States Treasury put in place. So we have to go by their guidelines on that. You feel pretty confident it can be done by 2026?
Very.
Okay.
That tells me you got to wrap your head, you know where he's going with it.
Yeah, I think their planning has been pretty good. You guys are doing.
They've got an excellent board. So
Yeah.
they're very, very tight.
And Ron, I gotta tell you, you were on everybody's short list, the second that we had this month.
Really? I've been on a few short lists.
Well, this is a positive short list.
Ron?
Yeah.
I've got another question for you, Ron.
Yes, sir.
Craneville, they have their own water sewer department, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so then they would be able to maintain the system once the system is taken care of for the future, correct?
I'm very lucky, Jim. I have a great group of employees. Don't have to worry about them at all. All
Yeah.
they're there for is to do the job and do it well, and I couldn't be prouder.
You guys do a good job.
That's good.
The whole community.
Remember what I did for yeah, back in a second life.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, you guys know what to do. You got a good crew.
I do. Very fortunate in that respect. Matter of fact, all of our employees are great.
Well, here's what I'll say, just for me. I'll do everything, I think we all feel the same way to help you out some shape.
Appreciate it.
And we're trying to get every single account, give them something. How much, you know, I do 300 hours, that's kind of the going rate right now. Depends on what we got left. But you confident on that?
I am, yeah. What is the time frame on the project that you've got?
This summer.
Think you're ready-
Be completed this summer.
So you're ready to sign a contract? Just got
Already
this
signed the contract.
That is good news. That's what we really want to hear.
It is.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we don't play poker.
So Ron, a little bit of the legal stuff. There will be a grant agreement. If the board chooses to fund this, there'll be a grant agreement that the city will have to sign. And then if if you guys, if the city has received 800 or 750,000, I think, isn't it? 750,000 grants, and then you'll have a single audit. And the city will have to pay for the single audit. The ARPA funds can't go to fund the single audit.
Combine.
But you guys do, I'm sure you do an audit every year, at least every year.
Oh, sure.
You guys do an audit. So it shouldn't be anything that's new to you.
Oh, I have to be honest, I was hoping you would have enough left over to the barber shop. I don't. Is that
Well,
reasonable?
You know, there's a
might.
few people in Carterville that have hair.
You might.
They might look at you and say,
And that's why I've never went into that.
But I think probably, the next week, we'll go get a head nod from us and get something in the mail, hopefully.
Well, I have to be honest, when I read the paper this morning and saw that list and Greenville wasn't on it, I panicked.
I bet. I'm yet to read that paper.
He did a good job.
I've not seen it
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
I made the comments for everybody outside.
Yeah.
You'll make the list. It's not that list. So,
The short list.
yeah. So, well, I don't have anything, Jim.
Ron, I think your project's very worthwhile. The board will determine how much money we'd like to give you. And that will be, like Brent said, Stephanie will send out a letter for the next meeting that we have once we schedule it. She'll also attach a copy of the grant agreement so that you and your attorney can look at it over through. And then we'll call you in the next time and we'll sign this grant agreement and we'll be good to go.
Appreciate it, Jim.
And you know one thing,
Buddy. You might even be able to buy a shirt with some sleeves, Ron.
I might even be able to buy a shirt with some sleeves. Reputation procedure, right?
Yeah, apparently.
after today, she'll probably send it out there tomorrow. You don't get it, I tell everybody, 10 days, but it's flooding in St. Louis. I got my tax bill, which I hope it gets lost in St. Louis, but
I just paid mine this morning.
I still haven't got it. But
I got
I'm
mine.
concerned about it because St. Louis is a mess. If you don't get anything in 10 days, get back with us.
Yeah.
Something's happened.
Sure.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, I have nothing else. Jim, anything else?
No, I don't have anything. Ron,
Ron?
appreciate you coming in.
Appreciate you coming in, and
I appreciate you
we
guys.
look forward to a successful project.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, good.
It's good to meet you, Dan.
See you. Thank you, Brent. Appreciate it, buddy.
Well, we lost 2 good members on crosswalk, huh? Crosswalk.
Yes.
Boom, boom.
Well, Steve Haynes has been sick a long time. And David Gray, so
Another one.
I don't know. Thank you, all of you.
Okay, Ron.
Appreciate it.
Take care, Ron.
Good to see you, Jim.
Yes.
Okay,
And we can take on other business too.
so here are the 2 submissions, one for Ted Hampson for his contracts signed by the state's attorney for hours worked from July 1 to July 29. The other one is the Blairsville projects
Total water.
for the water tower.
So that,
Contractor statement and submission from Claire Ziegler. First, that's the first payout to Taz, is it Colwell tanks. And then some attorney's fees and then administrative costs all submitted. That's the total. Okay.
we just need to sign it, we've already voted on it.
Yeah. But those have the blanks attached. I think the switch process. These are, well, I'm trying to probably. Jim, are you going to be here at any time?
I didn't plan on it. Stephanie can sign my name.
What's that?
You miss power retaining?
I've seen Jim, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, he's-
The COVID is there.
Yeah.
Got the COVID.
I said, you get negative a couple times, I said, you just stay right there. So,
Oh, modern tech.
You ready? Good morning, welcome.
How you doing?
Doing well. We're giving away money today, so it's always a good day.
Is the $7 still on offer? Or?
$7?
Yeah.
7?
Yes.
We could probably handle 7, we take up collection.
You know,
That's the hat.
All right, so we left off with you were wanting some money, quite a bit of money for your project. Let's go over that one more time. What you done?
so essentially based off our previous conversation was that obviously all expenses that have already been paid would not qualify for the ARPA. However, we continue to scan the files, which mitigates the amount of foot traffic that's in the courtroom, which is obviously a COVID mitigating effort. In doing so, the total cost for that is around $800,000. Granted, we paid half of that currently. So that's an additional $400,000 that we have in the continual project. Another effort that we've done is for adding stations away from the general public for pro se litigants. This will keep workstations for self-represented individuals, mitigate the COVID traffic fears. Another project that we're working on is the citation. So currently, the officers have 48 hours to turn in a ticket, which means that those officers that have potential to have a high exposure rate because they're interacting with so many folks in the public will then be able to essentially email those tickets over, and then they will not have to come into the circuit clerk's office, which will certainly be a COVID mitigating effort in that regard. Some of the other things that we're doing is we have books where it's got divorce files dating back to the 1800s. They're actually honestly
They're huge, like bigger than legal size.
yes. So for example, yesterday we had somebody come in wanting to get that scanned in so that if somebody wants a copy of that, we can just email it to them so that they don't have to come in, which is certainly reduces the amount of exposure not only to the county employees but as well as the general public. Do you have any?
Well, what was the big amount? We can't do that. What was the amount you were looking for?
Now, that's the question.
Well, I mean, that, I left myself in everything.
I mean, certainly, obviously, I'm not expecting to get.
You said anything would help. I mean, you had a number.
Originally, I mean, I had requested $1.5 million. I was not expecting to get anywhere near that.
Right.
Somewhere in the ballpark of, 800,000 would help out a lot, but again, anything will help. So anything's better than nothing.
You spent, I got your some information, like on the accounts you got. So you spent, what, the stuff you just did, which account did you take that? You take that
Dock storage. Certainly, we're going to have to amortize what some of those costs are going to be because our automation account is much larger now than our dock storage. But I also need to have some sort of mandatory minimums in the event if something goes down, case management upgrades and stuff like that. That's what those funds are generally.
What do you say? Then fund balances and dock storage? To
Well, I
make it
haven't
cover-
set a minimum. That was something that I had actually discussed with Kim Meyer about regarding what that needs to be. There were some policies in place that I thought about entertaining. One of them was in order to go below these mandatory minimums, whatever that number ends up being, so the judge figure out what that needs to be, and in order to go below that, it would just be my signature and be the presiding judge as well. So that's two checks and balances rather than just the office holder themselves having full authority. So
Is there any way you could come up with an idea about that before we start in the budget?
of course,
Because we need to take a closer look at that budget.
a lot of it is seeing the future costs. Once we get all the stuff paid for and scanned in, document storage, the amount will be reduced in terms of mandatory minimums. However, if we continue to pay employees on the social funds, that's where they're going to have to figure out X amount of employees, how much the cost that is annually, and then what the cost is for additional document storage, upgrades.
Right.
So that's what I want to figure out. I can email it over to all you guys.
Yeah, that-
So, again, it would be a rough estimate. But if you want something to time there, so together.
Yeah, I think just something, we can firm it all up later. Just to verify.
Absolutely.
Because I don't want to run out of money.
Yeah.
I want you to have that.
As long as I can continue to have 7 bucks in the account.
I mean, we'd like to borrow some money from you. Jen, you got anything?
I just want to make sure that everything that you do is somewhat COVID related, you know,
Every
or help mitigate.
Words
Yes.
today.
Every single thing does mitigate the amount of foot traffic, and by virtue of that, it mitigates the COVID exposure. So,
So reduce,
yes.
did you say you're putting up a kiosk type situation?
I've spoken to Joe Lee regarding that. We haven't put any plan in place to it. So, because obviously I have a lot of projects that I'm trying to get done. So that is something I'm going to entertain in the future. Also, by scanning all this stuff in, faster that these cases are inputted. So for example, the tickets. So when they take 48 hours to put it in the system, that means it's delayed in terms of when they can pay. By putting it into the system immediately in real time, people can then pay for all their citations online rather than having to come into the courthouse and do it pay or appear.
All this, document storage you've been doing, is that the contractor?
Yes, the company is Excella. They work throughout the majority of the counties in the state.
Have they been providing bids to you?
Yes.
Okay, you had any competing bids for them?
So when I spoke to AOIC, which is the Administrative Office of Illinois Courts, a lot of the counties have been recommended to that. They're an Illinois company, and they're very familiar with the case management software that we're trying to use. There was one other company that I spoke with. They were more, and they didn't fully understand how the case management software works, and I figured it'd be a lot more to proceed with that company.
Okay, so do we know how? Don't we have, is it a policy or is it a statute where we have to get competing bids for these things?
On,
On any work that we have contractors for?
actually, it's $30,000.
What was your question again, Tim?
Whether or not he should be getting competing bids,
If you gotta be over 30 grand, 30 or more.
30,000 or more is what I thought it was.
Yeah, 30,000, I believe, is the number.
Yeah,
But
and I
on-
thought,
And then,
that occurred to me, when you were here last time, that occurred to me that you may be spending more than that minimum on this.
I've definitely exceeded that by 10, 5.
But now with the ARPA requirements, they may be a little different. I mean, that's just if we want to say bid out a service for whatever for the county. But now because we're awarding this, we may need to check the requirements of ARPA. They may require, have different set of standards as far as in bidding out, other than ours.
Yeah, with the exception of the money that we give to county offices, CASA. Everything's out there, everything has been bid out. Every project.
The only thing I suggest is, yes, I've spoken to a couple different companies, but I obviously make the educated determination that I'm going to go with a company that understands how the line works versus, you may get a better price for somebody else, but
Right.
if it's not
But-
compatible to the system, then
Right,
it's not compatible.
I get that. I was just concerned about making sure all the bases are covered.
Of course.
on a different topic, are they still doing the collections, the people that collect?
See-
How much money do we bring in now?
I can look.
Well, yeah, we can look. It's usually March is the largest month simply because tax returns, but it's a pretty considerable amount.
Basically, how they go out and find people, old money.
I think somebody called the other day that the case was like 14 years old and they just started calling them about it. Didn't know that they owed it.
14 years old.
Imagine that, they didn't know they owed it.
Crazy.
Justin, is Becky Jansen still in charge of that program?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, when I met her, she looked like a pretty smart cookie.
Yeah.
Well, Tim, you're not here, so I'm gonna ask you, any final words or questions?
No, the only thing I think maybe I might need to give you a buzz a little bit later on in the week about the digital ticketing. making sure, we checked on that a long time ago. I understand what the whole deal is with digital ticketing. But all my concern is this all going to be helping to mitigate COVID? Does it meet the qualifications? That's all. So other than that, I think you're doing a great job, and that you got all these projects lined up. I think you have been doing a great job, and we all appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Jim.
No, your office has been busy. No, I don't. That was really the only thing I had sticking on my mind. That and making sure.
Absolutely.
Somebody there the other day.
Thanks for coming in, Justin.
Thank you.
I look at them and say, correct? No.
That's the whole point of ARPA.
You're missing the
I
words.
don't think it's looking back to bite us.
They said, we're gonna do it anyway, whether we get it or not.
Of course.
Oh.
You're absolutely correct. Sorry, touch it by the time you're drinking. You good? You can hear? Thanks,
See ya.
See you, Jim.
See you, Justin.
All right, got next. Got it. Did they get like it?
On your sheet.
Yeah.
I only gave you anybody that received over $100,000. So Real Springs,
Yeah.
Craneville, all of those were all under 100,000. So
I take Craneville, they're in a tough spot.
It's in there, part of those.
They're in a,
It's just maybe drink the water. It's just a matter of what time you're rusting. I mean, it's bad.
this
Make it not that bad. You know,
this sewer situation, Craneville, can't call that. That's gonna be difficult one to solve. We're gonna wind up having to take out huge
Yeah, the
ones.
one more.
Well,
You know, guys,
at some point, that system's gonna have to close. EPA
You know-
comes in, close it again, what are they gonna
They
do?
got the problem.
it sounds like Craneville's in real need. And I know we've been talking about 300,000 for a lot of these places. I would want to consider upping that a little bit, either to 4 to 5, somewhere in there. That's just my opinion, but
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking,
I think around 4.
4 to 5 would be. what I'm
And it sounds like he's pretty confident that he's gonna move quickly on it. Regardless, but they have to borrow a lot of money.
The amount of work that they have to do over there is so much that they can actually break out smaller pieces of it and bid that, and we can fund a whole project that way.
Yeah, the last one that's in here, I see this money, these accounts, keeps growing. I know the numbers that were going out last time, I can't go that much, but
No,
knowing these other towns, we don't know what's gonna come down 6 months from now or a year from now, somebody might need something, and think a bunch of money into an office, making money.
well, you guys, just in between, you asked me to research grants and matching the economic development stuff.
Yeah.
I guess I've done a cursory view of 430 some odd pages. So, you're exactly right that you cannot do anything. Federal grants, there's like 4 or 5 different spots now, specifically stated, no matching
no matching,
at all.
none.
And so that's a pretty evident one. The things I've found for economic development are either one, you can grant the money to a third party economic development corporation that can then in turn provide loans. That money has to be given out, but then somehow we have to track
We have to all have
payments
oversight of everything.
and everything else. And I don't know if that has to just continue up through 2026 or thereafter. That could be a reporting nightmare, but again, that's your decision of what you guys want to do. The other part of the economic development that I looked at said that you can provide economic development, but it has to be to either underserved or economically hit areas due to COVID. So if the area itself doesn't like qualify, I don't think you can justify it being economic development because there's other resources in there. So I mean, it would have to be like an area that was in like destitute or despair, not one that's being built out, you know, and then that. So I'm not sure, you can't, I don't think you can just use it to open up something.
Yeah.
To add to an economy. It would be something that would be coming in to either replace or, okay, here's a good example, maybe, Rovex closing in Carter. So basically you got Farm Fresh and then you got to go out now probably. So I think maybe if someone were to open a grocery store in there, that might qualify because you're serving a need that has been, that you can show, you know.
If Carterville, if that area is economically.
Yes, yeah. Which I don't know if it
We
is,
don't
and I don't know if there's been lost revenue or that type of thing. Again, you might be able to say because there is, you know, only one option other than going out and people are unable to get transportation. You're serving a niche there. But I don't know if that, you know, like the ones that have been proposed to you, like you said, restaurants that already have 50, 10, that's going to be that cool. I mean, I'll continue to research it, but everything that I've seen has like that caveat to it that says it's got to be.
You're confirming what, the way I read it. When I read through that. I really don't think it. I kind of read that, the other one is give it to a third party, like a business incubator, something like that. But like you said, it's important.
My office.
So we'd have to go too deep, at least on that, on oversight.
Some people can't do a job with this.
I just don't see how we can give it to a business. I just don't. I'd love to
If you
help.
do that, you might as well go across there to the county, give everything to the government.
Well, I'd like to say something about that.
If it's going to meet the guidelines.
I'd like to say something about that. You know, when we first had this money, we first had this program, we did our best. We broadcast it. It was on, I talked about it with Tom Miller. It was on the news. It was on Channel 3. It was in the paper. It's on our website. We made it known to the public the best we can. We are not picking and choosing businesses here, there, everywhere. We're looking at the businesses that have applied. They have applied. Everybody had the opportunity to apply. So, you know, whether we give to a business or not, we're not giving to a business simply because we want to help them out. They have applied. Everybody had the opportunity to apply, and they still do. So, you know, I don't have a problem in helping a business, you know, if the board so chooses to do so, because they applied. We asked them to fill out the application, download the application, fill it out, and they have. Now, what we give them or what we don't give them, you know, that's going to be a board decision. But I don't have a problem giving it to a business at all, because this is the parameters that we set up. So we can't go to knock on everybody's door, because then you're going to set yourself up for, hey, how come you didn't come tell me? Well, we did. We told everybody through the mass media. So we have the applicants that are applying for this, and that's what we're looking at.
I think most businesses, though, realize they don't qualify. And then they also have a lot of time to still send in their application too. Unless we spend all of it, I don't think it'd be wise to spend all of it, but.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of businesses, you're gonna find out that they're very private. They don't wanna expose their income or anything else like that on the application. And for the amount of money that they would request or whatever, it's just not worth it. I know a couple of businesses, they didn't want to let people know how much they make. So that's why they didn't apply. You know, it's just kind of a personal thing. You know,
Sound like Brian Stricker here just walked in. He didn't want
That guy's got a lot of money, I'm telling you.
Anybody?
to. He.
Might know how much I owe.
All right, you want to sit up here at the big table?
All right, well, put one seat, so you're close enough.
Well, go ahead and sit up. There.
I always like to make Brian nervous.
Well, okay, bring the one more chair up then. Here.
Yeah, there you go. Now I can see you
But
guys.
this is, oh, half of
Hey,
Brian.
Brent,
Hello.
how's it going? Good to see you.
Jim's got the big
Oh,
C.
Jim, I forgot. Have you picked up, I should have looked, those white ash keys and those contracts?
Oh, I haven't got that yet. I never got that.
Should have looked before I came up here and dropped them off. I'll, if you don't swing by, I'll try to remember to drop them off here or something.
Okay, that'd be fine.
You feeling okay, Jim?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Just had a little bit of COVID and I'm just on the tail end of it now. So
I always have to ask, because some people had a hard time with that, so.
no, I just had one day. It was kind of rough, like a bad cold.
You know, it's not the COVID, I think, that gets me, it's the later on effect. What it does to the rest of your life, that's for, yeah.
Did you have it? I never did. Diagnosed with it. Yeah, really. Okay.
So,
Yeah, I went behind.
Brian, what do you got going on with us today?
Well, Brent asked me to come along.
Yeah.
He applied for the ARPA fund last fall, I guess, for Marion extending sewer service to developing area south of Marion, South Market Street. So apartments are already popping up.
Right.
And Travis might be here. I know there's already some drainage issues
Yeah.
and sewer issues of sewage in the ditches. And that's kind of what Marion had a couple of projects before where they, that happened in the 70s or 80s, whatever it was. And they had all kind of, kept growing problems. They ended up getting incorporated. They spent a lot of money on Spring Garden and Rolling Hills, trying to clean that mess up. So Marion's trying to get out ahead of that now. So in the application, we're extending, I think we said we're spending $1 million by agreed now, getting sewer, lift station, and golf course, road on market, sewer to Sycamore. And what was turned into you guys that Brent's here to talk about is Sycamore Copper, which would be phase 2.
Phase 2, kind of a 3-phase project. We're going to actually extend, hopefully, somebody will, not us, down Gulf Course Road and down Stockton. So we got to get 2 Cochran Road next. I think that's the next big push. And then, like Brian alluded to, there's a 10-acre plot down there. There's been interest in developing that for some time. I mean, predating any COVID stuff, I was back 10, 15 years ago, we had interest in that. But to get that density of the housing development, apartment complex, that's been the big hole. So, the city invested money to get phase 1 done. We're getting ready to start that. You've probably seen the pipe along South Market. That's probably the next few weeks. We'll start on that part.
Yeah.
To get the lift station in the force main and down the city. And this is phase 2. I mean, it's basically all gravity sewer from Sycamore to Concord, about a mile's worth.
Oh, really? Can you grab it?
Yeah, it'll be gravity. And then it'll actually run past that 10-acre plot. There's actually currently there's interest in somebody doing something down there. So without the sanitary sewer, it more than.
Yeah, I met with a lot of developers to do is kind of do a layout, what it could look like, and then a cost estimate, and normally it's prevailing wage city costs. And I tell them that they get the cost, but one was, I said, I'll do it separately, so it's kind of timely to be talking about it, was to give from Sycamore to this development. I said, I don't know how the city's got this phase 1 they're paying for, I don't know if there's some way to pay for that, but I'll itemize that separately, that you look at it, you can talk to the city or try to figure out a way to pay for it, so it's right along the path. I think the way we've got laid out, it's like 100 potential apartments down there.
Yeah, I've heard over 100.
Yeah, so.
And then ultimately, that seems to be where a lot of residential development will go. We have some landowners there that do develop. They're pretty close. We're talking anything from, single-family houses to apartment complexes, whatever. It's kind of where Marion's growth is going to go. We kind of, stopped going other direction.
What's the amount of that project from golf course to Concord?
Well, I think in that application was 817,000. That was
Okay, that was the 817.
That was before we,
Million.
before we bid phase one, and of course, things are just
Things have, well, you know,
nuts.
things have gone haywire.
So now it's 1,300,000.
Yeah,
Well, that's the last estimate based on the bids that we got.
yeah, we usually have phase one bids.
Marion got close to $3.5 million ARPA funds. What did you all do? I know.
I know there was an application process for a lot of not-for-profits that got hurt by COVID. I don't know a whole lot about it.
I'm not sure where all that money is earmarked for. A lot of it was, I think, the Lord County.
I know Mike and
Sidewalks, a lot of sidewalks.
Mike's biggest push, what he wanted to use it for was having trouble finding was, he said, we're having trouble in Marion with really housing in general, but particularly low income housing. So that was his biggest push. And then I knew they took applications for not-for-profits. And I'm not sure.
Yeah, some of them went to Boyd Street, you know, things like that. Boyd Street. And those are things I'm just getting in passing. I'm not involved in how that money was spent.
Kind of disappointed it's a residential tip there, one of the two, that old area that no one's doing. It's trying to clean it back up.
So I guess, Brent, I guess basically if we could get anything better than that. We got so much pot, we're trying to spread out to every little single
We're trying to
village,
touch everybody.
and a lot of these villages
Oh, I know.
are just, well, Greenville just in here, it's terrible here.
Well, I know, I realize that.
Marion's in such better shape.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Cambridge,
Filler town.
First Bush.
Well, the way we look at this project is we don't normally put in sanitary sewer. But nobody can get over this hang up of having a lift station put in and all this force main. It was just insurmountable for anybody going to develop even a 10-acre plot, spend that kind of money, would never happen. So we decided that we could at least fund this first part internally to get things in place, and then hopefully developers or there's other money available, grant money, we can actually spend grant money to extend this.
Yeah, I met with developers probably for 20 years down there, where they're trying to come up with a bond, this is some type of obligation. It's some way to get down there, it's just, then their developer walks away, and so a lot of them end up spread out, but they still septic tanks.
It's not the best use of the ground down there.
And Jerry Barish, owning a big chunk there too, he farms, but his big idea too is development is where all the permits are going, so it's coming. It's whether we want to get ahead of
Is
it.
all that area in the residential tip or not?
Not that area.
A little bit.
None of that would be a tip, not.
It's not the city.
It's not even, no.
Oh, and that was gonna be my next question.
There's
Is the
some
city
narrow-
going to start incorporating that area down Cochran?
Uh,
The city would annex that in?
as developers come in, they would probably want to annex it, I would think, because they need to get the city services. That's probably
Yeah, because that's one thing he has struggled with and almost thought that they didn't want a super issue down there, is why he's thinking that we're facing, because even Mike had said, the other thing too is that you incorporated there, the providing fire and inspection.
Yeah.
And that strains us. But the decision was ultimately said, well, this is what people on that, so that we don't have to screen our desks with sewage ditches again, let's try to get ahead of it.
And those are very expensive things to correct after the fact. And also, it's not the best system for the grinder pumps. It's not ideal, they're maintenance intensive. We would love to see gravity going ahead of time and be able to get everybody on that type of system. Number one, we're not so septic depth for it out into the environment. That will ultimately cause trouble for somebody that starts to get too densely developed. So that's the reason we want to get sanitation down. And all the problems.
So your project is $1,300,000 estimated. Let's say that you got a couple $100,000 in that. Could you finish the project? Could you finance the rest of it?
Probably not at this
So
point.
it's an all or nothing.
But no, but it would have to be closer to the total now. We just don't have the debt service to fund anything. It's substantial right now after doing about $1.1 million in phase one. So we're really seeking out alternative ways to pay for it. Through unserved community grants to apply for, we'll probably do things like this.
Well, if you think, you're looking, like, Earth done home and road, most of the money is like $300,000 pocket. You know, that means 300,000. But that might be it, I mean.
Yeah.
That would eat up whatever you got left.
Well, obviously, if we know there's money available.
But you got
We
your
can start looking
2026
for
finish.
Okay, and then, so that makes a difference. We've got, long-term planning in place, we've got debt. that
I mean, I would
expires
think
through that
if the
time.
growth variance got, but 2026, we get some money here, you could
Well,
get a grant or something. for the
Yes.
rest of it.
the 2026 timeframe helps a lot, knowing that. So,
So you were talking about this right now, but that's what, 4 more years, so.
sure.
Because I do agree that needs to be done.
It needs to be,
And we're working every angle to try to get it to happen. Like Ryan said, there's other ways we can fund it through special taxation in this area.
Yeah, a couple $100,000, they can say, oh, yeah, we're gonna start tomorrow because.
Brent, I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I couldn't hear what you said.
We're, as far as other sources of funding,
Yeah,
we've looked at some special, you can place a special property tax on to pay for some of that infrastructure. We've never done it, but we've talked about it. Brian could probably speak to it better than I can. But that's another funding mechanism that we could use instead of increasing water and sewer rates.
right, okay. Right. I couldn't hear, when you turn and you speak low, I can't hear you.
I'll be like.
Yeah.
Some kind of like
Like,
obligation.
we've not done it because we don't know how everybody else is going to feel about it, because basically it's an SSA, special service area. You pass a bond based on the special service area, and it's guaranteed revenue from all the real estate taxes. So if you're out there,
It's like the mall. The mall is a special
Yeah.
service.
Yeah.
you would get basically a line item on your real estate taxes, my understanding. That would be,
So either way, they're going, the citizens are going to get hit, the property tax or the water and sewer.
yeah, and that's the
It's a
balance.
double-edged sword, either way, they're going to get popped.
Yeah,
Well, what happens
special-
if you raise sewer rates? It's the entire town.
Yeah.
So with that said, I mean, it's not as big of an increase, but somebody over
Well,
in Pocatello Valley doesn't really.
The special service area
it's
is
not really fair for a
specific
guy
to
living on Main Street.
Specific to that area.
that area only, yeah, so.
That's
Yeah,
So if
we
you
do
develop
talk
a 10
about
acre, then you may have the special service
Right,
area,
just
only
this
the people
area,
within 10
I mean,
acres.
they kick around everything.
That
Normally
spot
they'll
has to
walk
pay.
away.
So that-
Probably goes far anyway.
That seems to make more
Yeah,
sense.
because it just becomes too cumbersome. It's just too much to it.
We did a subdivision for, the McNeil family, that's across from Shell Baxter, the Basinger. Part of the property that they're looking at now, and they ended up just actually, I think we actually got a plat. Vacate the plat because there is, oh my gosh, just can't do it, they just sell parcels. So,
Oh, yeah, it becomes too expensive.
yeah, it's just, you know,
Cost per lot.
yeah, most of the developers here in Morningside, you extend sewer, because, they have to pay for it, extend sewer from Morningside Phase 9 to 10, that's not a big deal. On a mile, it's a big deal.
And that's what we want to do. We want to get it close enough for a developer to say, hey, I can tie right there that manhole, 600 feet of sanitary sewer, and take care of the subdivision.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's doable. And I shouldn't have said we can't do it for $300,000. I think I misspoke on that. That any money we got coming in factors in what we're doing. And then the time frame also factors.
Just set that money back and be, get the project.
Well, we may phase it even further rather than going to Cochrane, we would try to get to this first development.
Sure.
Which may leave off a little bit and then only guarantee by a certain, but if you know how much money it is, you can figure out, okay, how we can work with this. Phase 2 may just not be all the Cochrane.
I guess my point was if you did finish with 2026, you would have to pay that back. So if you already spent it on something else, you always $300,000 get back to the feds.
Right.
Jim, you got anything?
Yeah, I got one question. You guys addressed it a little earlier. I wasn't able to hear. I don't know because people were just talking low or what, but I know Marion did get $3 million in ARPA. Could you explain how they use theirs?
Yeah, I asked at the beginning. Brent's really not sure. He's
Jim, I
talking.
wasn't involved in how that money was spent. I know that we've got, Mike has a plan to rehab a lot of the low-income housing, like specifically Midway Court. I think some of the money went to that. But I may be misspeaking.
So nonprofits.
So, yeah, Boynton Street Community got some money. There were some other nonprofits that got money. Like I said, I wasn't directly involved in any kind of planning.
Yeah.
of that.
Okay. So that's probably where, are you saying you do know that's where they use their money?
I don't know for sure, but I think that, I know I was at some council meetings when the Boynton Street Community Center got money.
Yeah.
And I believe that they're using some of the money for their Midway Court project. I can find that information out and get it to you. I mean, it's all on the book.
Just,
Well,
I'm just curious.
The reason I said not-for-profits too, I was there one night and I just cannot remember who got, I guess, did affect, I didn't worry about it, I was looking at something else, but they're not-for-profits that were awarded. I can't remember what, they submitted a plan of how to benefit their, they got affected by COVID or benefit the community, but it had to be a not-for-profit. I can't remember.
You just saying dollar signs, you just gonna ignore it.
No, I remember I was probably there for another agenda item. I can't remember who got that. I
I
remember
believe me,
saying,
I probably asked for the money, for some of the money, but I didn't get it.
Yeah,
That's,
I think that, so, explain it.
I think so.
I'm good.
I would be interested to know what you could do if you got through it, what you could do.
okay,
And
we can think about that.
yeah, why don't you think about that, and why don't you get back to us on this? Because I don't think $1.3 million is possible, but something small is probably possible.
Brian is excellent at piecemealing stuff together. He really is. He can say, we could do this section here now, and I watched some places.
He's really good at finishing projects too, because he's almost done with finance.
relative term.
That's 2 or 3 or 10 phone calls a month.
Yeah, I've actually skipped to that. The lift station design, I got a final review and then we're ready to bid that. The electrical components, the pumps and all that kind of stuff. The televising is the contract that I was going to get to Jim. So it's moving forward.
Excellent.
Yeah, I know, I have spent some time with Jim on that project out there years ago. Yeah,
It's a project, all right.
Very
It's-
excited. I'm not going to take it over.
We're certainly glad to give it to you.
Well,
Now's your chance. Let's make a deal.
no. Not as far as to maintain that system.
The system's going to be pretty much new.
Yeah,
When you
it's
say
fairly
something,
new now. You're gonna do some rehab work. That's why you're videoing.
we'll fix all the infiltration and all that.
New pumps, new electrical gutters, lift station, lining, pipes, lining.
You've got some other interested parties in that system, I think. We've discussed it.
Yeah, Brent and I spent a lot of time out there at that lift station.
Tried to figure out a solution for you on that.
Yeah.
I think it's better now than it was years ago. Yeah, it needs somebody taking care of it.
We must be getting so much water in that system. It's
Yeah,
bringing all this other debris into the station.
yeah, the contractor that's working on it, I've talked to him about, he thinks he may have a really good idea where a lot of that water's coming from. So,
I do know, looking at the plans there, I've never seen for such a small system, so many sewers per 20 feet deep. If we run into that, we're gonna get some deep sewers with market to get through it, but not the whole
In
thing.
gravity.
Yeah, that gravity sewer white ash, a lot of it's 20 feet. Plus.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's hard
And
to
you-
put in, then it's hard to maintain.
You know, they probably put it in a 3-foot ditch.
Yeah, I don't even want to.
I
They
don't even
probably
think
don't have any
about
construction photos.
yeah, it's probably like 20 years old. About
Is that it?
No, it was late 80s, I thought, early 90s.
I would think it's probably back up there.
Not as long ago as it used to be.
They've got 100-year-old sewers in town we need to rehab. And we're working on the same type of project, trying to fix the infiltration. Gosh, it just gets so expensive.
It is, and imagine all these small districts that run the county, they just don't have money. They have their sewer going.
Nobody really has any money.
Somebody's got-
You've got to be creative. Anyway,
Well, if you could, get back to some, what you could
how
do
we can do it.
with a lesser amount, maybe it's like Brian said, maybe a fraction, maybe we do a third of it, or something like that.
I mean, we can continue that coverage down South Market. I mean, it's $300,000 if we want it, I guess, but it needs to be,
Well, there needs to be a
we
plan.
really need to get it to that development.
I
That's,
got confidence that you'll come through.
oh, yeah, we try and work together here. We always come up with solutions, so.
I keep thinking of the church bill out there, they get done with.
Oh, well, yeah, there are projects about like that. Engineering, a lot of times is the easy part. It's figuring this part out. That's the harder part, so.
Yeah.
Design and permitting, we can do that.
Well, and these costs are so much higher than we're normally used to seeing.
Is the material coming down? I know lumber is
Lumber
dropping
is-
big time.
This is based on the bid. That's why it might put there, I'm hoping, the last bid, I'm hoping prices have stabilized. They have here
I was just saying, the
in
stabilized.
a near recent amount,
That
back in
was
spring, I didn't want to estimate something 45 days after bidding. It was crazy, but it has stabilized.
Suppliers.
It's still just getting the material now, still is an issue.
Now that-
$9.
That's
Oh, they're down under $4 a ton?
Well, that's a builder's price.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's held up phase one, is getting the material. It's like Kevin had a lot of material already and it got delivered and the supplier found something. But then once-
Is Kevin doing that?
Yeah, so
Good.
he just can't, a lot of times you can't get started if I'm still just missing this one component. You have all the pipe in the world, but I have this fitting. And
Yeah.
might as well start.
We finished a lift station just now, the contract was worth 1 year ago. And the job took about 10 days to do.
Yeah, lift stations don't typically take that long to do.
Yeah, it's all material.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we know what to do.
Jim, you got any more questions?
No, I'm good.
All right, Joe, thank you for coming in, appreciate it. It's good seeing you, buddy.
Thank you.
Hey, at some point in time, maybe next week, we help them some of those job options.
Okay.
So I talked to Joe about one. I'm going to say it takes 6 months. Or at least.
Yes.
Positive.
Some of them won't start till next year, so some construction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. When's our next group coming in?
Right here, she's making her way to the hot chair.
Okay. Good deal.
Chair.
Nobody's been ejected today,
No,
so you're in good shape.
we unplugged.
Well, I don't want to
it.
be the first, that's for sure.
We're here to hear you.
Okay.
What you got
Tell us
going on?
about your job.
Well, work with Business Side, so we promote Williamson County throughout the United States and abroad. We've put out information to all 50 states and 2 countries outside of the United States this year. We recently just had the International Baseball Tournament, which is where I just came from, sitting on the Japanese team back then. So we were excited to do that. But when we applied for ARPA, there was an issue with not knowing whether or not our grant funding for the year was going to be coming in. And so we thought the best thing to do is to find something that would be additionally helpful for everyone in pulling people off the interstate. And at that point, a billboard was what was needed. And we did eventually secure that, and grant funds did eventually
Oh,
come
you
in.
did get the money.
We
Okay,
did get
good.
some grant funds that we were able to use for it.
So you did get your signs already then?
Yes, our sign is already in place.
Okay. All right.
So, we don't have a promise. What did you apply for?
I applied for 9,000. That was the total for a year for signage.
Actually,
Yes.
is that something that would fall in the category?
Well, I mean, there is a tourism component in the final rule. that you-
He's better than the final rule.
I don't know. I have to look and see about if there's reimbursable costs, but I guess what you might want to do is, obviously, that's for a year, right, Ashley?
Yes, that's for a year.
So are you planning on doing it next year?
Yes, we plan to continue.
So we could-
So, I mean, you could fund it in next year's, amounts.
Has the sign been successful?
We have seen people coming off the interstate that have said they've seen it. Although, as with any billboard, there is no traceable.
Yeah, there's so many of them, who knows?
Right, but we do know from the billboard company that the total amount of people that normally go through on a daily basis for that billboard falls somewhere between the averages of 92,000 and 111,000.
We had amazing.
Yeah.
That much traffic.
Yes, that is just beyond.
It just blows your mind, doesn't it?
Yeah, I got oh, got something I'll explain to you.
Okay.
I think I understand this one and the difficult one.
No, this is pretty simple.
Jim, you got anything on this one?
No, so basically, if I'm understanding you correctly, it's the fund for next year
Yes.
on the
Yeah,
side.
our contract will run through the middle of December and then the next year's contract.
It's all 23.
Yes. So all of it.
Okay, and that's still the same amount, 9,000?
That is correct.
Okay. All right.
I don't have.
As I said,
This is a pretty simple one.
Very simple. Very simple. Well, the board will decide what we're going to do, and we'll be in contact with you. And we'll go from there. We'll board make a decision on this, and we'll go from there.
No problem. Thank you guys.
All right, Derek.
Appreciate you coming in.
Appreciate you coming in. Thank you very much.
Thank you. See you.
So you actually.
Yes.
Okay, now where is our,
Let's rewind now, back to number one.
okay, you want to go ahead and talk about this
We
again?
might as well get going and go for it.
Okay, Granville.
Yeah, we're gonna use number one, Personally, I could probably go 400, probably 400-ish on that one. Hey,
I would say 400 would be my bottom.
I've got 400 on my paper right here in front of me.
so,
So we're all in agreement.
so,
So let's send 400 to Granville. Make Ron happy.
yeah, he'd be thrilled for him. The circuit clerk one, I'm kind of all over the board. I'm probably not gonna be the same as you guys on this one. Because I see the amount of money comes through there. You know, I might be able to go 300, or maybe 4 tops, but that's my cap. You know, he wants 800?
He wanted 800 minimum.
I mean, 170. Pretty
You know,
ton of money.
I keep going back on this one, Brent, that this money here, ARPA money, is not local money. And he is spending local tax dollars down there to do that. So that, you know, I'd much rather spend this money than that money.
I would have to agree on that logic.
You disagree or agree?
No, I would have to agree with that logic in using ARPA funds versus his funds, because of that very reason. It's local taxpayer dollars versus dollars from everywhere, all over the country.
My concern is that I want to have some money left over. We're going to have some people going in the next year or so, and I just don't want to.
And that's a
blow it
good
all
point.
now.
That's a good point. I would be willing to fund maybe a couple hundred, and then let's revisit him next year. Maybe.
Something now, look at it. next
All right. Jim, how would you be about that?
I'd be willing to go at least 500 right now. That would be what I'd like to go. I was saying 750. I'd still like to go 750, but I mean, I'll go 500 if you guys go 5.
I can't do that. I mean, not.
Hey, Jim, how about if we go something less than that, and like I said, we revisit this at some point? Would that
Okay,
be
so
something with 250 or 3? I think you said
I
300.
said I'd go with 300.
We go 300 today, and then maybe
That's kind of where we've been on everything.
maybe after the budget, after the new year, let's look and see where we're going to be at on our budget.
I still believe that when articles come out, I believe that more people are going to send in. And I hate to just blow it all and just say, oh, we had it, now we don't have any more, you know, and we spent it right here, you know.
Brent, what are you at?
I would go up to 3. It could be 250 or.
Would you be willing to revisit this then?
Yeah,
In 8 or 10 months after we get our budget,
yeah.
let's see where our budget's gonna be.
We've got a long time to get this money.
Yeah, we've got a long time to get this money. I doubt he could spend every penny of that this year anyway, could he?
Well, he knows, I've talked to him before, he knows, he did anything to help. He's not asking. He knows that. He's not,
So
he
Jim-
ain't.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Tim, where are you at?
I'd go 300, Jim.
Okay. I'll make one plea, go to 400.
It's like a game show.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, I just think it's worthwhile. I really do, but you know, it's going to be a board decision. So I'm comfortable anyway. It's going to be a board decision. And I say 4 because I was at 750.
Yeah, you've come quite down quite a bit.
I mean, if we're going to revisit it, yeah.
Let's
feel like
visit.
it'd be 4.
Right. How about 350, Jim? Let's do 350 and call it a day.
Brent, what are you at?
I'm at 3. But I don't care. Everybody just whatever. Take 2 people.
I just split the difference at 350.
All right, we got 2 people, 350, 350 it is.
And then
Okay.
after we get our budget.
It's like, we
All
need
right. So
a,
you're at
Oh,
350,
sure.
Brent, and you're at 350.
I'm 300.
You're at 300. Okay,
Yeah,
Tim.
350.
He'll go 350.
But I don't care.
He'll go 350.
Then okay, then it's a board decision. 350.
350,
Yeah.
that's the number.
All right,
Third.
350. We'll revisit it.
Okay, the next one's City Marion.
Gentlemen, they got money. We don't know what they use the money on.
No.
I this is one I have trouble with.
I honestly, I got trouble with this one too. Out of all the communities in this county, Marion's by far the wealthiest and most capable.
Okay, hey, let me back the train up a little bit if you don't mind, because I was having trouble hearing them when they would talk low and turn. Is this for repair to an existing sewer system, or is this an extension of a sewer system?
So Jim, around Golf Course Road at the intersection on South Market Street,
Yeah.
the city,
Oh, yeah.
the city is going to bring a sewer line to there and set a lift station around that intersection. Okay, the money that they're asking for is going to go south from that intersection, and they want to go all the way to Cochrane on that sewer line. Now that cost they estimated about 1.3 million, which means it's probably going to be closer to 1.5 or 1.6.
They said that, you know, that they'd have to figure out another way to get the money. They feel like he first said that they couldn't do the project at all if it had close to the full amount.
Yeah.
And we said, can't do that. And then he
Yeah.
came back and said, we said it's about 2026. He goes, well, that's a different story. So we could probably figure out something in 2026.
And I did ask them to get back with us if the money happened to be 300,000. What exactly could they do with that? So that may not even be enough money for them to start a project like that.
Now I know that they've laid that line and everything. They've got more pipe sitting out there ready to go. The question I have: are they going to be running that down Golf Course Road as well?
They wish to. Now they want to do that.
That's like phase 3. They want to, yeah.
Okay, because then that's going to affect my property. And with that being said, I'd kind of like to stay out of this decision.
Well, they said something about running a bulldozer and a bunch of lines right through your property.
Yeah, well, they can do that. I don't care.
Lift station's gonna be on the north side of your property.
Yeah. They'll probably
That'll be
raise
fine.
gasoline tanks then too.
As long as it doesn't keep me up at night.
Ashley, let me ask you a question. I heard something a while ago that it's fine, it makes sense, but they said they might be able to figure out some way to use the 300,000 now. But I took that as it might not be of what they applied for. So if they, let's say they take it and do it on something else, that they have to submit that to tell us what that is,
That'd be
right?
another application.
Yeah, it'd be another application. I mean, here's another, from a tax standpoint, to look at. You would think they would eventually annex that in.
I asked them that, they said yes.
They will,
Okay,
yeah.
so then you have the residential TIF that runs south, which would probably, if you're going to get development, probably be amended, and then be out there, so then you're looking at tax dollars for 23 years, to understand. Unless you want to negotiate that into the agreement that if they were to ever annex that in and put that in TIF, that the county gets some portion of that money. I mean, because you're allowed to do that. A lot of TIFs in other areas give portions to the school district where they, phase it in 20, 40, 60, 80, 100% over 5 years or 10 years or something like that. So you're at least getting a little bit of it, and it's not all going to, the municipality.
We get our walking.
I agree.
$2 or $3.
Well, I know.
But the difference here is if this really isn't county money, this is ARPA money that we're talking about.
Well, I understand.
If it were county money, absolutely, I would make that argument. like that.
And anybody's
Still talking 23 years to ever see.
I would recommend running that by Rhett, the Assistant State's Attorney, and making sure that that would be okay. If that was available, I think that would be a good idea.
You need a, I'm not saying,
Oh.
I understand that it's not local money.
It's not local
But
money,
at the
if it were
same,
county
but at
money.
the same time, I mean, it's, the county's making a choice.
You can stand outside these doors and hear a sucking sound on
Yeah.
every time they put in a residential tip.
That's right.
And
In
anybody
general.
that says that residential tip does not affect the rest of the taxpayers,
It does.
is crazy. I'm on record.
Every TIF affects.
Every, well, yeah.
No
Well,
matter-
tip, but the residential is out of control. And Cambria is going to affect Marion, Carterville. You take it out of the pie, it's like I fill that pie out. So they say, oh, no, it doesn't. Bullshit. So, I am not a fan of residential, period.
So why don't we revisit this? I hate to say that again, but they're gonna get back to us to tell us exactly what they
they're gonna
could
bring something
do.
back.
Yeah, so I don't know that we need to make a decision on the city of Marion.
On that, I had penciled in 250, 300 times. Again, I'm trying to stay in that
Well,
same.
I think you're right. And I mean, the object I think has been to try to spread this around, so.
People who look at it, they say, how come we go?
I think that we do need to run that idea by Rhett. If we could, we'd have to modify our grant agreement to include that. And plus it says it's a living document. I mean, we said we could make any changes at any time. So, we might not need to modify it. I don't know, but I think we just need to talk to Rhett about that. But I do think that's a good idea.
Okay, yeah, Brian's gonna get back, I think, on what they do with 300. The first two, you got the clearance, Stephanie, and sent it out to Stephanie away.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Glasses aren't on, I couldn't tell if you. So then this one's a pause. The last one is, I guess, a full board, $9,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
visit.
That'd be three out of 4.
Right,
Yeah.
visit it.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
All right. Can I jump off of ARPA for a second?
Yeah, go ahead. Do what you-
Yesterday I got a call from a lady named Brenda Rolson. I think, Tim, she said she may know it, I think she knows you or something.
Me,
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe this could be a married name. But anyway.
what was her? Okay.
Okay, she's from Clearway. So the contract is up. Or this is the month it comes up. And Jim doesn't have, I just got this morning and she printed it. I'm just gonna read it, okay? I cannot attend your meeting in person today. I want to go ahead and provide you with 3 different options to consider. Increase bandwidth significantly to 500 bandwidth solution, no additional fee. Keep everything the same and bill reduced by several hundreds of dollars, not sure the exact amount, she'll think it's $300. Let us take the $1,100 you pay in voice lines right now and apply towards a new phone system that comes with unlimited LED and maintenance plan. Cost is not yet determined, more information to come. Renewal incentive as an extra thank you for being a good customer in Clearwave. Provide you one-time invoice credit of $1,000 for a 2 to 4 year agreement and 3 months of invoice credits. $1,000 for moving forward with a 5-year agreement. So basically, I know in the past, people say they want to bid this out. I've always been a believer that if it's a good price, if it's not broke, don't fix it. We've seen it around here before, where we have one person come in here and, man, I don't remember who it was, everything was screwed up from one end down the other. I've asked office holders, I don't know a thing about Clearwave and don't know about Clearwave. But the other guy is gone.
You're talking about telephone.
No, internet.
Internet. Clearwave is with internet.
Yeah,
The
and so-
internet guy's gone too.
Yeah.
The telephone,
Snyder's gone.
what'd you say about the telephone?
Well, they asked about telephone. What I asked her in an email this a while ago is, do they work on telephones? But Frontier does not.
Right,
I wouldn't say buy new phones, if we get somebody to work on the phone,
right.
you know, so, but I've asked office holders if they had any issues. I've not had one iota complaint. So just if you want to bid it.
And she's wanting to,
Got an incentive for
Increases.
2 to 4 year.
a 2 year or 4 year, right?
Bid 2 year,
And increase our bandwidth to 500.
which is,
I'd be interested to talk to her about what she has in mind. for
yeah,
telephones.
she's in Pinckneyville, couldn't make a meeting today.
So
So,
we've had issues with telephones.
yeah, Mr. She answered me. Oh, yeah, no, she's done a meeting. I don't know her, I don't know anybody Clearway, but I just know that things are running smoothly. Why try to rock the boat, especially with everything you got coming up, man, I just don't know.
When's that contract up with her?
He said August.
Is
I
it
don't know,
August?
if it's in the month,
I was thinking,
you know?
I don't know, I don't talk about it.
I was thinking that was closer to October, November, December.
She told me on the phone that it was this month. I mean, Jim have a copy in the box, or that's just a call her, do whatever you want to do, invite her meeting, or
Yeah, let's
bid it, or do
let's see
whatever
if
you want to do,
she'll
just read what you told me, so.
see if she'll come to the meeting. Is that okay with you, Jim?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so that's that on that. I mean, I may ask you, actually, Amanda, have you had any trouble with Clearway? Major issues?
I don't think so. I mean, you know, we've had a couple times where things haven't been working, but I don't know.
They've had a couple interruptions, but it wasn't county related. It was somebody hit the line.
Couldn't be worse than Frontier we had.
You might want to check the IT people to see if
They've had any issues.
they've had any issues.
That would be a good suggestion too, you know, just to make sure what we, you know, let them look at this.
That's a good idea.
That come out of my pants.
Ashley, do you have anything you wanted to add to that? Let's see, we do have a travel voucher someplace. And I lost it.
Yeah, I'm lost. I just, let's see
I
here.
lost the travel voucher.
Well,
Okay, so Amanda is going to go to a conference, correct?
Right, in Springfield.
And you can't get the rooms booked for 92. Did you
It
do
was,
that?
yeah, $99 is what they had the rooms booked out for, and there's no more rooms available.
that'll.
So Amanda's going to be staying in a 3-room suite.
Oh,
To me,
Yeah, so if I'm correct, you're asking for us to approve the 352.56.
Right.
As opposed,
instead of being $100 a night, it's like $158, I think.
okay,
It's 2 nights, so it's gone for about $100.
and strictly because you can't get the room at our rate.
Right.
Rent you,
well, yeah, in past, I mean, it's not a substantial amount of where we would have approved it, if there's something like the situation, so I'll make a motion to it.
okay, we have a motion. I'll second.
Jim Marlowe,
Yay.
Bert Gentry.
Yeah.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah. Okay, does anybody have
Next time you
anything
get on
else?
earlier, get that rate.
I'm still within the deadline of doing it. They're just like, yeah, I was like,
Must be a happy place.
Yeah, when are you going?
the 26th, I think, it's less.
Is that in Springfield? Oh, I've not got my room in Springfield
That
yet.
must be a happy place up there.
This is county clerk and recorder, is yours
Where
someone
are you
else?
staying at?
I think it's the president, Abraham Lincoln. Actually, we're across the road there.
I usually stay
I
out.
figured, I was gonna tell her to check the president, because I figured it'd be like,
Is it the fair?
Bring up something.
you know, I don't know, could be.
Oh,
If you're done with that, I'd like to bring up another topic.
hold on, Jim, what do you got?
Oh,
I was in contact with a lady that works evidently for Elite Casinos in Walker's Bluff about the liquor license for a casino. So I think I may have talked to Stephanie about this, but we're going to need to discuss liquor license for the casino. She said there'd be probably at least anywhere from 6 to 7 entities, whether it be bars or restaurants or bars outside or whatever. And he was looking at our ordinances, and the ordinances didn't quite apply because she said, well, what's this? You know, we close at 2 o'clock or whatever. And I said, so tell me this, are you going to be open 24/7? She goes, yes. I said, okay. So what we need to do is start thinking about, and I've already talked to Red about this, modifying or creating a special liquor license for the casino. They plan on opening the first quarter of 23. So probably February, I would say February or somewhere in there. And we're going to need to have that in place. So be thinking about, do we want to have a license for each establishment, or do we want to have a overall license, and what would be the fee? Now, I think, you know, for what this would entail, you know, what's a 1,300, Stephanie, for a Class A? I would think for a casino, you're at least talking $5,000 for a class, whatever, casino class per entity. And if you're talking about an overall umbrella type, I'm thinking $50,000 for something like that, you know. So we're going to need to work with Red on this, but just be thinking about it, whatever you guys think, you know, your ideas. So
One thing I would just throw up is that we probably need to check with other places.
Yeah.
I see what they do and try to be comparable where maybe Elite is, and not just be just way off the charts. I mean, you know, let's check with people, they've got other casinos, let's just check what their liquor license cost them.
Right, well, we have other casinos in the state.
Yeah,
also.
yeah, just try to stay in the means.
We
of
should,
what- Yeah.
right. I don't want to give it away, but I also want to be impressive.
Right.
All right. Jim,
but
you
anyway,
are
that's
timeline
all.
on this to have this done before the first of the year?
we're going to need to have this done probably. I told her we'd start working on it, and way before the first of the year. I'd say probably, you know, in the next couple of months. Let's sit down and talk with Rhett. We'll look at what some of these other casinos charge, and we'll go with that. So
It is the city of Coast Springs. Yeah, that was to do headworks in the pressure, sweet pressure. Lift station up on Colleen. Okay, their request has been rescinded. So they don't have an active request in with us right now.
I'm trying to go through this, if we hit everybody.
I think we've done a pretty good job about connecting with everybody that has a legitimate, not legitimate, but a request that meets the guidelines.
what are you guys looking at?
I'm trying to go over, see if we've tackled everybody that's requested ARPA. All the ones I see, Centerstone, Bi-County, Voyage, Blue Gym Realty, Miss Tatum Daycare. Anybody else we're missing? Ativa, Cole Valley?
Yeah,
We did.
Cole Valley had asked for money to build a shed
Oh, okay, that's the
for their
shit.
equipment, and we determined that wasn't gonna meet the guidelines.
Are we sure that's the only thing they needed?
Well, they had just bid a $1.9 million water project, and I don't think they got anything else underway.
Just what I'm trying to do is make sure we've talked to everybody on this list, because,
We've got Spiller Town,
yeah.
so supervisor assessment circuit clerks, those are both for premium pay, we got that covered, PUC, we got that covered. North Highway, we granted them money. It's a highway.
It's a
Oh,
highway grade.
that's for the department.
You know, I will say this on some of those others. I know there's a lot that we've already taken care of.
Yeah.
But there's a couple on there. They're small dollars. I didn't know if maybe you guys thought that we need to go ahead and just give them a call, have them come in.
That one you're talking about, we talked about today, is $7,500 for this Miss Tatum's daycare. But I have no earthly idea without reading it what they're,
I believe that was for a rock.
That was for, that wasn't for, was it for a parking lot?
Yeah,
we can't do that.
and then the other one was Blue Gym Realty was 75,000 to rehab some apartments that they own.
But what I'm getting at is they took the time to fill out the application. It might be worth our time just to listen to them and, just listen to them and we don't have to award it or we might award it, who knows? But at least we take the time to,
Yeah, let's call
Maybe
it.
next week, get Centerstone, by County, the Voyage, Blue Gym Realty, Miss Tatum's Daycare. I think that's it.
I think we're all the same mindset in looking at these, but I think, in my opinion, I think we owe them the courtesy of listening to them.
I think we did.
Yeah, Tim will be out next week. We can either do it following week or he can call in or
Yeah.
whatever. It's not a rush. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Jim, you got anything else?
No. Nope. Haven't got anything.
I'm peachy.
Is there anybody in on the
Phones,
phone?
anybody on Zoom?
Well, if they're out there, if you got anything, now's your chance.
Anybody in the waiting room, as they call it?
Okay, all I need is a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Jim Marlowe,
Yay.
Ron Gentry, Jim Atkinson.
Yes. All righty then.
Muchas gracias.
There's your payroll right
there that you guys.
Come on out.